So, on last week's episode of Wellness Wednesday, I explained how I had fallen off the wagon. On this week's episode of Wellness Wednesday, I'm going to explain to you how I not only fallen off the wagon, but I'm being drugged by that wagon and what I'm actually going to do to turn this situation all the way around. What's going on, champions? It's your coach MJ back at you with another episode of Sats and Success. It's time for us to learn and grow. So let's go. Yeah, um, I am being drugged, tossed to and fro by this wagon. And I'll explain to you what I'm talking about. And actually, more importantly, what I'm going to do to turn this situation around. I've been wanting to get off of this topic of grief and emotional duress, but I just can't right now. One of the things that's very important to me is that I be led by God. Now, I'm not perfect, not even close. And sometimes I just do my own thing because I'm a sinner that way. I fall short that way. But as much as I possibly can, I try to be led by God. And God is leading me to stick right here and not move on to something spiritual, not move on to something physical, because there's nothing more powerful than to have somebody going through something that is being transparent about it and watching this person go through it and seeing how they actually come on the other side of it even better. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I know for a fact that I'm going to come out of this much better, having learned lessons so that we can, and teaching these lessons, discussing these lessons, so we can learn and grow as a community. All right. On this channel, we talk about the four pillars of health: financial health, your spiritual health, your mental health, your physical health. And I'm sure some of you wondering, why don't we talk about emotional health? That's a great question. And the reason why I don't really talk about it as a pillar, because it's actually tied into one of the pillars. It's tied into your mental health. If this was an org chart, your mental health would be right here, your emotional health would be right here. All right. Let me give you an example. We live in a society where there's a lot of mean people out in the world today, just intentionally mean. And they will do things and say things to troll and tease people just to get an emotional response from that. But when you're at a point where you're mentally strong, you can't be triggered. Your emotions can't be triggered by someone trying to intentionally tease you or troll you. That makes sense? And so that's why I don't really talk about it separately, because it ties into your emotions, tie into your mentality and how you view things, how you see things. Okay? So that's why I don't. Now I will talk about emotional health, because emotionally right now, the thing that's dragging me, that has a wagon dragging me, is I just realized that I was dealing with some depression. I've been depressed over the loss of my little dog Nina. It's been about a month since I had to put her to sleep, and it devastated me. That's what actually got me talking about discussing this thing called grief, because I had never experienced it uh, at this level ever in my life, ever. And it totally rocked my world. And I know that I can help so many people out there that's dealing with the same thing or will deal with the same thing in the future. Unfortunately, the loss of a loved one is something that we're all going to have to deal with. And so I realized a couple of, I'd say, I'm going to say a week ago, I realized a week ago that I had been dealing with depression. Because if you remember on last week's episode, I talked about how Monday I was going to get back on track because I had been grief eating horribly. I mean, absolutely horrible. Eating things and drinking things. I'm not a soda guy. All right. I've been drinking pop like it's been going out of style. Eating late, eating a lot of sweets. Now I have a sweet tooth, but I've been gorging on sweets, absolutely gorging. I've still been working out because that's been a stress relief for me. Um, and I don't know if I would even call it a stress relief. It's been a relief valve for me, going through this process. But my eating, oh my goodness, man. And let me give you a physical tip. If you're in the weight room and you're working out and you've been very consistent and you're not seeing results, make sure you're eating right. I see so many people in the gym who come in the gym week after week after week after month, year after year, and there's no change in their physical body whatsoever. And that's diet. If you ain't putting in the work in the gym, it's your diet. Okay. Small little tip. Let me get back on to today's topic. I It's been crazy. I get up. I go to sleep at about 1 o'clock at night, but I'm religiously getting up between 6:45 and 7 a.m. in the morning. This is how I realized that I was going through a little depression. It wasn't the eating part that made me realize. It was the fact that I was sleeping in. My alarm would go off and I would sleep in till 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. I just couldn't get out of the bed. I didn't want to get out of the bed. Let me not say that. We can do any and everything. So don't ever say that word, I can't. I didn't want to get out of bed. I absolutely positively did not want to get out of bed. And that's when I realized, you know what? I'm depressed. I am missing my little girl so much. It's caused me to be depressed. And there were days where I didn't even work out, sleeping in that late. All right, so what am I going to do to stop being drugged by the wagon and get back on that wagon and control it? Well, I'll give you three things that I have been doing and will do to do just that. The first thing is just understanding exactly what I'm dealing with and going through. Notice I said understand. I didn't say accept. See, we use this term a lot when we're going through things in life. You have to accept where you are. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have to accept depression. You don't have to accept grief. You don't have to accept being stressed out. You don't have to accept that. You want to understand that, have respect for it. Okay, respect the heck out of it. Have an understanding. I've been, doing some research about grief and depression. So I understand it and I fully and totally respect it. And that's where it stops for me. I'm not going to accept it. Okay. And this is what has people going through a tough time in their life much longer than they actually have to go through. Okay. So I'm going to have a deep understanding of exactly what's going on with me and why I am where I am. Okay. The second thing is I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to rush this along because one thing I've never been in my life, which I'm getting better at as I grow older, is patience. When you're dealing with grief, if something's got you depressed, you're going to have to, again, I use that word respect, respect it and be patient with the process. Trying to push it along, trying to force your mentality, your emotional state back into a positive state before you're ready can do more harm than good. So I'm just being patient with this whole process. But the next thing that I'm going to do is actually, it may sound counterintuitive, because the third thing and the last thing I'm going to leave you with that I am absolutely going to do, and I started with this yesterday because I recorded this Tuesday, I'm going to start eating better. All right. I cannot wait any longer. I recognize, and I've said this before, that all four of these pillars are all connected. All right. So my mental, my emotional state has caused my physical state to go into decline. And I absolutely positively cannot eat the way that I've been eating any longer. I can feel like all this sugar, all this processed food, all this crap I've been eating, it is taking a toll on my body. I feel it. I feel it in my knees, my joints. I can feel it in my gut. I feel it. And I don't like feeling like this. So this is going to make me right away get back to eating healthy. And I'm going to turn this on just like a light switch. I often do from time to time when I fall off the wagon and I start eating stuff that I shouldn't be eating. Everything in moderation, because I do have my cheat days, but when I'm on, I'm on. And I am off. Like I said, I'm off the wagon. I've been drugged by the wagon, and I cannot allow what I'm dealing with mentally, emotionally, to affect my physical health. And that's exactly what I've done. And I need to stop that right here, right now. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay. So those are the three things that I'm going to do to get back on the wagon and take control of the wagon. I hope this helped you in a tremendous way. If it didn't help you, I hope it helps someone that you are connected to. So if you could, please share this video with someone that you know this will help. That's all I got for you guys here on today. As always, knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. You've been given some knowledge here on today. The question I have for you is, how are you going to use today's knowledge to enrich and bless your life or someone that you know? We'll see you on Friday for Financial Friday. In the meantime, in between time, be blessed. I love you. I appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.